Welcome back to another Morning Brews pre-record with myself, the roadman, and Mr. Dagul. Spurs lose at St James's Park, glaring issues, and so many missed chances. Stay tuned here. Welcome back to Morning Brews. Obviously, another pre-record. This should be premiered within the morning. Hopefully, be in the chat to everyone. But yeah, you're back, Daigle, on Morning Brews. How have you been?
We're back. I've been good. Had a relaxing day yesterday. Travelled up to see a couple that are dear friends of mine and Ilana's, who I used to work with at Booking.com, and just been chilling in the heat here. It's been boiling hot here today. Nice and relaxed, but wasn't very nice and relaxed watching Spurs.
No, I agree. So let's get into it. Spurs lose 2-1 to Newcastle after kind of a dominant display, to be fair. Overall, it was kind of a dominant display. Stats will tell you that. Eye test will tell you once again, defensively, dreadful. Issues are all there. So what did you make of the game overall?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to try and be very. I'm not going to go into large monologues to here because in a few hours, Andrew Management will be on. So I don't want to start the show going just refer more Andrew Management. Look at Morning Bruce, and we're out. So listen, it was again. First of all, I said when I went to the Emirates last year when I was back in England, after we normally get absolutely trounced and put in a pathetic, limp performance. All I said going into that game is if you're going to lose, at least put in a performance that you can say every single man gave their all. And in that game against the Filth, they obviously did. It was brilliant to be there. This game, it was more just don't get battered. Just don't get battered. After the last two games, it was just don't get battered. And like you said, Spurs were very dominant in a lot of the places. A lot of passages of play, big moments as well, big chunks of play. But once again, if you don't put the ball in the back of the net or can't keep the ball out the back of the net at the other end, you're in trouble. And again, we were our own worst enemies today.
Yeah, we were. Like, I was so frustrated watching the match because, again, we had so many chances, and yet players seem to just not been in the right position. Brennan Johnson came on. Obviously, for me, he was probably one of the better players of the day. Fair play to him. I know he's still getting a lot of stick over X and stuff like that, and people are still digging at him. But he put in a fair few good balls. The issue was, again, because of our strikers are injured, and we haven't left any other striker on that bench. We had wingers up front not reading the game and not realizing to get in front. Again, Odegaard as well. You know what I mean? Didn't have the worst game in the world. Wasn't a fantastic display by him, but wasn't getting into the positions where a normal winger who's got that attacking intuition within his head would feed them positions, especially at the back post. I've seen a couple of balls put in, and he was more ball watching than actually trying to read the play. What did you make of the overall of the front attack? Obviously, I know we didn't score many goals or anything like that, but overall, your display of like the Kulizeskis, Son, Odegaard, and obviously Brennan. Overall, how do you feel about that?
Odegaard, I still don't understand why he tried to volley the ball in rather than head it. I really don't. But he kind of got up and he looked like he was trying to do both. Like I just did. I actually just tried to do both. I lifted my hand up on my head and he couldn't decide which one. And obviously the header was the much better choice to do. Heung-min Son did well in patches, but I've said this before with Heung-min Son, and he did it again today. Sometimes he passes when he should shoot and shoots when he should pass. And there was one key one after we'd equalised where he was right and Brennan Johnson was wide open. He went for the shot and it went out for a corner. And normally you've got to say, all right, Heung-min Son, you don't mind because obviously he's the best strike finisher we got on the pitch. But it's just frustrating when you see that. There were so many attempts where we got in the right positions, even on the edge of the box, where we just kept passing, with no real desire to get a shot on goal, no real desire for anyone to take that responsibility to do it. Brennan Johnson, when he came on in the second half, and I know the hate he's getting, and you know that you and I are someone that will try and defend him and will say what when he's had a bad game, you'll be like, it's indefensible, it's blocked. He came on, he made a difference. He had to be alert from when Pope made that clanger, if you want to call it, made the contact that went for the own goal. He was consistently out wide trying to get there. I just mentioned he didn't get the ball from Son. And when he did get, there was a couple of occasions when he whipped the ball in, and there was no urge from our players to have that striker's instinct and attack the space that Brennan was putting into. So he gets labelled, oh, that's a shit cross from Brennan. It weren't a shit cross. If a Solanke was there or a Richarlison are there, that's the balls they're absolutely crying for. Now, Kulusevski didn't have one of his best games, did he? He was kind of in and out and indecisive. But if a striker was there, a Solanke is attacking that ball. And so someone would be going for that ball to try and get it in the back of the net. But there was some errors from Brennan as well, like misplaced passes or whatever. But on a whole, he certainly made an impact. But hey, when you have a transfer window and you have three strikers and all three are injured, and obviously I wouldn't say star defender, or to me star defender, is out. All the fears we thought then didn't think turned out to be. It just goes to show within one game of this window closing how big a problem we could have if the players in the key areas are out, and that could happen with any team. But obviously, us being Spurs, it all happens at the same time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And for me, when Ange made the sub, obviously took off Papa Matasar because he got that yellow card, switched obviously Kulu more deeper, put Brennan on the right, and obviously Sonny up front. There was a bit of a different dynamic to us. We were a lot more attacking, we were a lot more free flowing. Obviously, let's move on to the next bit with the glaring issues, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, our attacking wise, we knew what the issue was there. Yeah, no strikers on the pitch. We had wingers. We had a failed right winger playing up front, and then we had a left winger who doesn't even want to play up front. And as openly said, he doesn't want to play up front because he doesn't like to. That was a glaring issue there. But for me, Romero on the left was a big, big issue for me today. I found him indecisive. I found him wanting to attack too much, leaving a lot of open spaces. When he was on the ball, a lot of the time he would spend at least 10, 15 seconds trying to make a decision where to pass the ball, then passes it sideways. And I was seeing this up to like the 90th minute when we needed a goal. And he's standing there with the ball, and then he'll make a sideways pass, or he'll pass to someone who's completely under pressure. Do you feel like I feel that Romero had a bit of an off game because he was either out of position or it was one of them days? And overall, how do you feel like, you know what I mean, the defensive situations that he left us in at times was on him or other players?
I think, well, first of all, if we look at the first goal, where he came charging out, doing the pressing, I don't mind him doing that. I don't, because he shows the aggression that he wants the ball and everything. But when he does that, surely one of the players have to realise, right, I need to step back and cover Romero's space, because Romero's gone. It's kind of like when we played with Pochettino and a Jan or a Toby, then a Musa or a Wanyama drop back to make up that fall. So I didn't mind him doing that. But obviously the team have got to realise he's gone. Who's behind him covering? Destiny didn't have the greatest of games either. Destiny was not at its best, and this back four that should be so solid is not looking as solid as it should. And I don't know, with Romero, I think we discussed this on the fan show, didn't we? About, do you move Romero to the left to put Drago in his right position? And I think that might have been the right move to make. But then there's a lot of weight on Romero controlling that defence, isn't there? Saying, right, everyone push up, everyone. There's problems. There are problems. We had an opportunity to solve them. We decided against it. We've got what we've got. But that defence now, you look at it, We conceded 3 goals away from home in 2 games, which you could say not too bad. But then look at it on the other side, we've had over 30 shots on goal and scored 1 of them. Then there is an obvious problem, and we've got to address these things. We have to address them. People can go, oh, it's 3 games in, it's 3 games. But it's the same players from last season. They should know what the system is, what the issues are. I see Anne's trying to change it technically and tactically, but maybe this international break has come at a good time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And going back to what we were talking about Romero and everything, right? Obviously, for me, he just looked uncomfortable on the left, right? He was out of position a lot. Other players weren't covering him. There seemed to be no communication between each other. Like, I thought Dragusin had an okay game at right back, his first game in how long? I thought he was all right. I thought he held his own.
You mean right centre back?
Yeah, right centre back. Sorry, not right back. Thank you for correcting me.
Okay,
it is morning. It's the morning. I've just woke up. I'm allowed mistakes. But yeah, obviously with that, obviously there just didn't seem any cohesion between the 4 of them or any communication. Now you see when Van der Ven's on the pitch, if Van der Ven goes forward, you'll see Romero push back and he'll fill that space. If Romero goes forward, exactly what you're saying, Van der Ven will fill that space or there. It just seemed like we just had no communication whatsoever between the back 4, and where Romero will go forward, Dragusin will go even further. And they leave massive open spaces. Porro will go up, Udogie would, and it just seemed a complete mess. Do you feel that was what Ange wanted? Like, I'm not saying like he wanted it, he obviously trained for that. I'm saying, and overall, the way he wants us to play, it's always front foot football. It's always players up the pitch. It's always sit on the halfway line, always attack. Do you feel like Ange, compared to how Eddie Howe set out his team, just got it slightly wrong yesterday? With obviously the defense and the way Newcastle wanted to play, everyone's seen they were going to counter attackers. Do you think Ange was a bit naive carrying on with that same high line that he seems to play, knowing that they were going to counter attack?
We've discussed this many times. Every channel, every fan, whether it be in the pub, whether it be at the ground, whether it be whatever, have said about his tactics and how they need to change sometimes. I thought once I saw Brennan Johnson, he made a sub at half time. I was like, okay, fine. But then obviously Newcastle worked out that they were on top, or we were on top, and they reacted. He digested what was going on, and Eddie Howe when obviously Jacob Murphy came on. Is it Jacob Murphy? I think it's Jacob.
Murphy.
Murphy came on, who has a field day against us, and then they brought Tonali and Hall on, and bang, they took over. And then we only made the subs obviously after we'd gone 2-1 down, because Newcastle then took the game. And a simple goal. Just playing high up the line again, just caught us out. Bang. And you can't do that. You cannot do that in the Premier League. And it looked like after we equalised as well and we're on top, some of the passes from Vicario went astray and went out for throw-ins. Some of the pressure we put on our needless pressure we put on ourselves. The St James's Park crowd got to us again. And then you're looking at mentality. Then you're looking at where are these warriors, these leaders, and like you said, the communication. And Ange's kind of tactics in this game. You've got to look at it and say we actually played very, very well in a lot of them. If our crossing had been if our crossing had been better, hadn't taken so many passes, or most importantly, those balls that people like Brennan Johnson was crossing in, there was a striker attacking the ball, you're looking at a different game.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's coulda, woulda, shoulda again from Tottenham, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is. And it always goes back, and we'll have a little discussion about this. Obviously, the transfer window, we all know, was shocking. We've all had discussions about it. We all know the issues, right? This was a huge missed opportunity for us because obviously in Tottenham's head, Slanky was going to be fit, right? But he ended up injured before the transfer window ended. We knew Richarlison's going to be injured, and we have no other striker. We sent Dane out on loan. We sent Valise out on loan. Lancashire got an early injury, which leaves us with no striker. So you look at that and say to yourself, well, surely the window's about to end. Go and get even a loan. Doesn't have to be the best striker in the world. Someone just to fill the space up front. Then you look at left centre back. Now, everyone and their gran and whoever, has sat there throughout this whole window and prior to this saying we need cover for a Dogi and we need cover for Van der Ven. Yesterday, I'm getting confused because it's the morning. Yesterday proved what everyone was saying, and everyone knew this, everyone could see it, that the second Van der Ven gets injured, we are in big trouble. The system doesn't work without him.
Mm-hmm.
That line can't work. This is a big mess up by Tottenham again, in it, where we had opportunities to do this, and it's just a complete mess. Again, where another manager, albeit whether you agree with his tactics or anything like that, or what plays he plays, has been left short once again, to the point where we heard Ben Davies is staying at the club. Plays at left centre back. He plays at left back. He weren't played, so clearly Ange doesn't trust him over a Dragusin, over Romero in that position. This is a big mess again, isn't it? And this is where it's gonna. I feel like the fan base is going to get into the position of frustration again. With 3 games in, there's always frustration, but I feel like it's going to get worse. How do you feel about that overall? And again, obviously, it don't need to go in a big rant. Just with this game happening and the issues are open to see. Left centre back, striker with the issues. It was a big mess to leave them positions unfilled, weren't it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when it comes to strikers, Solanke never gets injured. For Bournemouth, of course, this has happened. Richarlison, mate, he's becoming like Lo Celso. He is becoming like Lo Celso with his injuries. It's a huge worry. We've now got to do our 24-hour stream, which we will organise a day for and a time for. That will happen at some point. And we needed another striker. Obviously, Lancashire is already crocked. But when it comes to left back, left centre back, I've been screaming about this for the last week and a half. It's so blatantly obvious. It's there for all to see. It was desperately needed. Now, the players that have come in, your Grays, your Bergvals, your fans of Graham Bergvals, although Bergval was last the window before, they're not starting. I thought Gray would be starting. I honestly thought Gray would be. He's not. So we've bought them, and I understand the signings, but again, it looks like these are ready for guess when? A couple of years down the road, or later, rather than right here, right now. So we're playing the same players that weren't doing the greatest job. Oh, we got 5th, but I mean, that could have been so much better. And these players are doing it again. And the left back, left centre back is a huge glaring miss. And it's there for all to see. And I tell you what, if Van der Ven isn't ready for Arsenal, the filth, oh, sweet Lord, it could be, the tensions could turn very, very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to come on to that. Obviously, we've got the international break. I think it's 2 weeks off in it. We have. So hopefully,
next game is 2 weeks today. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So hopefully, you know what I mean. Solanke's nice and fit, ready for it. Van der Ven's nice and fit, ready for that. I mean, it's come at a good time for us. Obviously, we haven't got much confidence going in North London derby. They actually will be missing Declan Rice because he received that red card.
Thank God.
Against who did he play? Brighton, wasn't it? Yeah, Brighton. Watching them against Brighton, now obviously they had the loss themselves, didn't they? I think they lost 2-1, didn't they?
Yeah,
I believe. Obviously with the red card.
No, it was 1-1.
1-1, sorry, yes, it was 1-1. Obviously, when they come out of this international break, they're going to be raring to go again. They're going to want to win. They're going to want to prove to their fans, look, we drawn there. Rice got a red card. We're going to the North London derby. We're going to win. How confident are you after watching us against Newcastle going into that? And do you think it's going to just be an absolute hammering by Arsenal towards us?
I pray to God it's not. It's going to be, if Solanke and Van der Ven are there, I will feel a lot more confident. A lot, as we all will. This is obviously this North London derby has come where it could be a very, very good thing, or it could be an extremely bad thing. An extremely bad thing because after the Newcastle performance, after an international break, then you've got the big one, and things could start turning ugly. I've seen today there's been another huge shift about Ange out, whatever. So you never know what's going to happen there. These players need to be fit, they need to be firing, they need to be ready, and they need to put in a performance. Because if we don't, and Arsenal come, like I said, Arsenal will be pissed off their 100% records come.
Yeah.
I mean, that will piss them off. Obviously, Man City flying, Liverpool playing their biggest game away. Looked magnificent. Liverpool, Arnie Slot, bloody hell. All right, it's 3 games. It could be 3 peaking and then whatever, but they look very, very good. This game could not come any. I hope these 2 weeks fly by because we need to put in a performance. We need to make sure because what I will say, if you look at it, if we lose to Arsenal, let's just say we do, and I'm just saying we do. They're on what? They're already on 7 points. We're on what, 4? We're on 4. So already 3 points behind them and 5 points off top. If they beat us 6 points already, it's the game we can't afford to lose ever. We'll have to see where we go with it. But yeah, it's time to really hope that this the international break has come at the right time and that we have a fully fit squad on return.
Yeah, I agree. Now, looking at the table now, obviously, we're currently sitting 10th in the table. It's 3 games. It doesn't mean much at the moment. Obviously, we've seen in previous managers when they're sitting down that low of the table, if they can't gain points and moving up, and we do have a good couple of hard fixtures coming up with the North London Derby and with other clubs, with other teams as well. If Ange doesn't start gaining points and moving us up that table, do you think Levy's going to start panicking and do what Levy does best and then decide to go, you know what, bye Ange, and go look for another manager?
I really don't want to think that he will, but I know as we're talking about this, there'll be loads of people going, he's got to go. And if that's what people think, I've said it before, that's what people can think, but I can't turn my back on a manager. I just can't. Again, a certain person at the top will just bring in another manager, probably with a completely different philosophy. All those fans that said, this is Levy's last chance with Ange, will then say, oh no, he acted quickly, we brought in another manager, it's all part of a process, let's start again, yada yada yada. I've said it many a time. In manager's second season, late October, early November, is Daniel Levy's sweet spot for going to pull the trigger. I really, really hope he doesn't. There's going to be a lot of people saying, I really hope he does. But then what do? We go through the same process again. Same belief that this new manager will be the one. He'll do things, he'll go there, and we'll be back here 18 months later. Got to stick by the manager. I understand people's frustrations, I do. But everyone says we need a manager to stay for a long time to build something like all the big clubs do, and we want to be a big club. Well, and other people say, well, if you're saying that, why should we stay with a guy that hasn't got, apparently there's people saying they haven't got a clue. Well, I can understand that point, but how do we know he hasn't got a clue if he doesn't have long enough to get his system? I've seen people say as well they need 4, 5, 6 windows. Well, he only have 4, 5, 6 windows if he stays for 2 years or more.
Yeah.
So it's like, which one is it? I don't want him to be sacked. I won't turn my back on him. He's got to wake up tactically, though. He's got to wake up in case he is going to sign his own death. He's going to sign his own work. He's going to sign his own people. He's going to sign his own P45 if he doesn't change some kind of, not the whole tactics, whether under the cosh, drop back, whatever it may be. But he's got to start. He's got some serious thinking because this season it's his team, it's his players.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. And from my point of view, again, we don't hope, and I'm agreeing with you. I don't hope for him to be sacked. But on the flip side of that, he needs to start adjusting what he's doing at the moment because our football, if you have all the right players, the football works. You watch Man City; they can play with a high line, they can attack because they have the mentality with the players within the players. Sorry, and the quality of players that that fits that system and can continuously play that game for 90 minutes. We don't have that, and I find him being a little naive now. Like I said, I gave him a year, always gave him a year, same as players, and I'm looking at it now as it is naive when you're looking at a player that's been injured, Van der Ven, absolutely vital to for your defense. We have Archie Gray sitting on the bench who played as a centre back, yeah. So why not be logical and go with a back three? Newcastle were always going to counter attack. Newcastle were always going to counter attack. So when you do a back three, you have more bodies within that. You could have dropped Pape Matar out of midfield, yeah, and just had Madison and who was else on the pitch? It was Madison and Basuma. Yeah, you could have Madison and Basuma sitting there. You could have Kulizeski there. Your front three can stay the same, but you're defensively structured stronger because you could always have one of them players sitting back. And this is what's getting a bit frustrating now is when I'm sitting there watching Ange and he's refusing to do them simple little things that you see even amateuristic managers do. Sunday league managers do this type of stuff. It's getting a bit frustrating now. Now, again, I don't want him gone. I just want him to look at things, reevaluate what's happening, and hopefully he might do in this international break. Hopefully when he got all his players back, we see a difference. But I'm just worried because we know what Levy's like. The second his top four place is looking a bit, he pulls the string, the sacks a manager.
First of all, it's not even the case of his top four. It's not even the case of his top four, October, November. What will happen is, and I've said it before, it's kind of counterproductive because if we start singing or the stadium starts singing, we want Levy out, exactly. The manager pays for it. That's his death warrant because rather than saying, right, we best fix up and sort out what we're doing, he'll just go, oh no, they're picking on me again and fire another manager like he did with Nuno, like he's done with other managers. He'll go, oh no, they're picking on me, they're calling my name out again, and he'll go bin another manager off. Dave, you were saying back five. He's not doing it. As much as it makes sense and we've got the perfect one to do it, he won't do it. And the sooner we come round to that, he's not going to go to a back five. He won't go to a back five. Has he got the players to do it? Yes. Has he actually got the dream back five that we could all sit back and say, do you know what? That's it. Yes. Will he do it? No. And we'd be mad to keep going over saying, yeah, let's do it. But we shall see.
Yeah, we shall. Right, we've got 1 minute left, so I'm going to say now. I was meant to do a halftime team talk. I didn't. My apologies. It's the end of the stream team talk. Let's say that it's the disappointing. We're sad. I messed up. Team talk, just like Ange Postecoglou. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. The channel's growing massively. We're doing fantastic at the moment. We are smashing out content as much as possible. Obviously, sometimes it's a bit negative, sometimes it's positive. It is what it is, but we have an opinions. You have yours, so please get into the comments. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't, let us know. Be constructive with it. And yeah, we really appreciate everyone who's becoming members, who's liking the streams, who's coming into the chats. And yeah, so for me, dagul, that's it. That's my Domini Mind.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you send us out beautifully because you've got evening brews in like how many hours? Oh, and your management. Sorry, and
your management at midday. At midday UK time. Then there'll be evening brews at 6 p.m. UK time. Guys, listen, just once again, thanks for the support of the channel over the previous months. It's been incredible. We go again. Enjoy your time and anti-Spurs stress-free 2 weeks with no Spurs having to ruin international week for 2 weeks. unless we get injuries, of course, on international duty. But have a great day, whatever you're doing. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, Levy out.
So